What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of the Capoeira community. Thank you so much for hanging there wherever you are. I hope you coming back a little bit to training and staying there strong and just hanging there. Keep supporting your school. Keep supporting your teacher. I Thanks to you, we keep the coming back to teaching classes. And today I have a huge pleasure to have with us and to learn from him. He's the creator of the what I know, the creator of the instructor course online, and I have the huge pleasure to have with us Mestre Cueca. How are you doing?
Hey man, thanks for having me on. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for I've been wanting to have you on for a while, because I saw you work. I think probably like 6 months or something like that ago, and I know that you had this online course for instructors and all that. That's pretty much how the first time I uh, got to see your work. Yes, and
That's cool.
yeah,
That's really nice.
to see a little bit of people to get to know you a little bit. Well, what is your capoeira story? I know it's a long story, but
We'll make it short.
yeah.
we'll, we'll make it short. Well, my family is originally from Israel,
Okay.
but because of my father's job, they were traveling around the world. So actually, I was born in Jamaica and I
Nice.
grew up in Miami. So I only went back to Israel when I was around 12, 13
Oh,
as a
cool.
teenager. And pretty fast after that, I already met Capoeira. I saw Capoeira for the first time in my high school. It was my teacher, Mestre. Back then, he was
So
also
cool.
a young guy. He was 21, 22, just came back from his first trip to Brazil. I was 14. And it was like an immediate, back then Capoeira was very underground, just starting out in Israel.
Yeah,
And very quickly we started, to get serious about it. When I was 17, we already did my first trip to Brazil,
that's so cool.
where we met, of course, Mestre all the big masters. We also passed in California in Mestre Marcelo's big event. It was the launching of Tekken, of the
Oh,
arcade game.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a big event. And and then in Israel, you go to the army. I was in the army for 3 years. And basically, since I got out of the army, I was already teaching capoeira in the army during the army time. But basically, since the age of 21, I've been traveling to Brazil nonstop. I just finished another 6 months in Brazil in this pandemic time.
Yeah.
And that's basically my story. I built my schools in Israel for about 15 years. I have
Wow.
academies there. And then around 8 years ago, I got invited to live in Russia, in Moscow.
Oh, cool.
So for the last 8 years, I've been living in Russia, in Moscow, developing capoeira there. Some of my students went back to their home countries. So we have the Indian Center for Capoeira, a very big group in India. We have
That's awesome.
in Italy, in the United States, we have Michigan, we have Baz in Canada for Fusho. I think he
Yeah,
was on your podcast also.
yeah, both of them.
And Tubarão in Tampa. And so there's a lot of capoeira going on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And how was the beginning of capoeira in Israel?
I think it's very similar to how it was many places around the world. It
Yeah.
starts off with a few enthusiasts, a few freaks, yeah,
Yeah.
that fall in love with it, go all
Yeah.
in, and and to connect to our instructor course, I think that the instructor course was maybe one of the reasons why capoeira exploded in Israel. And I don't know if you know, but Israel is a very small country. It's about the
Yeah.
size of New Jersey.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
it's
small. Yeah.
it's 8 million people, and there's over 10,000 capoeiristas.
Wow.
So the ratio is pretty big. But I think one part of the puzzle, many people ask me like the secret, and I think definitely the instructor course was one part of
That's
this
awesome.
success. And it's important to understand that we did not invent this instructor course. Actually, it's something that we talk about it. Whoever will do the course online, in the first week, we explained the history, but actually there was a new law that was administered by the government in Israel, requiring all teachers of all martial arts to have a diploma, or else you cannot rent a gym, you cannot get insurance.
Yeah.
So actually this came out in around 1997. And we managed to escape this law for another 2 years, saying that capoeira is not a sport, it's an art, blah, 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 blah. But eventually they got us to a point where we had to do this course. It's a government course, yeah?
Okay.
And in the beginning, our mindset was, okay, let's just do this course, get the diploma, and we continue doing the things like we know how to do, because we were already having pretty nice success. We were having hundreds of students. So we were very young and arrogant. So we were like, okay, let's do this course just to get the paper. But eventually, going through this whole process of this course, we started learning a lot of good stuff. Yeah. A lot of good techniques, a lot of good methods. And it actually like really made the work explode. It helped like even the average teacher become very, very good. And the good teachers became like amazing.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's awesome. So basically the course was for almost 20 years, the course was being given only live, like in classrooms. Yeah. In mostly in Israel, but also in Russia, in India, and some of the other countries. I was doing a sort of intense weekend version of this course, because in other countries you don't need the government diploma.
Usually.
So we took out all the anatomy, biology, all this stuff that the government requires, and we just focused on the capoeira. And then right in the beginning of the pandemic, actually, I was going to go to Japan. There was a group of instructors that wanted to do the instructor course in Japan.
That's awesome.
And the trip got canceled because of the pandemic. So then came this whole idea of recording the materials, making it available online. And now 1 year into the pandemic, it sounds so obvious, yeah. But 1 year ago, nobody wanted to do anything online, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like no, online doesn't work. Capoeira online doesn't work. All that, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, in the last year, I think probably close to 400 teachers around the world have done the course.
That's
United
so
States,
cool.
Canada, Japan, China, Russia, and yeah, it's been great. Like that's what's giving me a lot of hope in this time. So at least a lot of teachers are sitting at home studying. So when they come back, hopefully they come back with some new motivation,
new material to grow their schools, and that's awesome. And what are the focus on the courses or on the
so
course?
the online course is like a 10-week course. And every week is divided into 4 chapters. Yeah. So every week you learn a methodology tool, some teaching tool. Every week you learn some psychology mindset aspect of being a teacher, either to motivate yourself or to motivate your students. Every week we focus on one physical aspect of capoeira, like 1 week round kicks, other week straight kicks, other week floreos, how to dissect them and teach them a little bit in more effective ways. And music. We break down all the music. Every week there's a different way of teaching music. So there's a lot of different approaches for 10 weeks. And the idea is that you come out with a toolbox. And afterwards, each one use the tools the way he wants to, the way he can. And it's non-specific for some group. We have Angoleros doing it. We have all teachers from all different groups doing it. And so that's basically how the online version is built.
That's pretty cool. And are you planning on having these in person once the pandemic is kind of like quote unquote over?
Yeah, exactly. So the idea was the more people that will do the online course, once we have the live one, they already come with a base of knowledge. And then in the live session, we can go a lot deeper and not cover all the basic stuff. So that was also some of the idea. Yeah. So, So this online course is sort of like an introduction. Yeah. You learn a lot of stuff, but then when you come to the live one,
it's deeper,
get serious. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you do the like anatomy and like all part of the bodies. Do you do that in the person course?
Well, actually not right now. Outside of Israel, we don't do all the theoretical stuff because in Israel, the course is very long. It's 30 days. It's like 500 hours. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when I come to a country to do it live, I have maximum 4 days. People cannot leave their life for more than 4 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we still focus mostly on capoeira, but all this anatomy, physiology is available online. So people that want to afterwards study it, actually today there's many free online universities,
yeah.
and we refer people to this material.
Oh,
But
okay.
in the live course, we focus really on practical capoeira stuff, like not, you know,
the extra.
less theory. Yeah,
Yeah,
less theory. I think it's important to know the names of all the muscles. It's
yeah, for
important
sure.
to know how the joint works. But I think this is stuff that people can learn by themselves. Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, and especially
Mhm.
with so much information online that you can go YouTube and find like
Exactly. There's such beautiful like tutorials today.
yeah, yeah, with all the technology. And what was I know you mentioned before, but if we can go a little bit deeper into the inspiration of how you guys came up with this course to open it up outside of the country.
Um, well, it happened naturally. First of all, in Israel, it's important to say that Mestre, before he was doing capoeira, he was already a black belt teacher in karate. And
Oh,
also he
nice.
was in the army, he was a Krav Maga, you know, Krav Maga.
Krav Maga,
It's
yeah.
yeah, he was a Krav Maga instructor for some
Wow,
elite
cool.
units. Yeah. So actually the person in the government that was in charge of these courses was his commander from the army, which
Oh,
was one of the
nice.
founders of Krav Maga, which was a very special man. He died a few years ago from cancer, but he was a very special martial arts master. He was a black belt in judo, karate, taekwondo.
Wow.
Uh, he was very knowledgeable, and he really loved capoeira. He saw us doing capoeira. He was really into it. Like he was one of the only martial. Back then, there was not a lot of interaction between the martial arts, not a lot of respect.
Yeah,
But he was really into us. So he took us
that's
under
so
his
cool.
wing and helped us formulate the capoeira into this instructor course methodology, which is basically an army methodology, how they teach in the army.
That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, in the army, you have to be very efficient teacher because your students are, they're young soldiers. They're
Yeah,
unmotivated. You cannot fire them. You cannot punish them. They need to learn a lot of material fast. So
yeah.
the army developed ways of teaching that are very effective, that the person can remember very fast information. So this was a few years process going with him over all the techniques, and he was like asking questions and why do you do this and why do you do that? And many times we didn't have the answers right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we would answer like many people answer in capoeira. It's tradition. That's how the old, you know.
Yeah.
But he really made us question everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the process with him. And afterwards, going out, when my students started to go out to their home countries, they already did the course in Israel. So for them, it was a natural next step to bring this course to their students once they had advanced students.
Okay. That's awesome.
It was just natural, man. When we think about it, doesn't exist in any other field of profession
Yeah.
to go out and teach if you haven't studied. Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah. 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 And yeah, I felt like we need more structure in the capoeira community. And sometimes we say, yeah, but we break the traditions. Yeah, but we also need how to teach. Be capable to teach people, because at the end of the day, we educate people.
Exactly. So I think a point I want to make here on the podcast, because I know a lot of people from the United States are watching. Many people see this instructor course and they think, oh, this guy is going to teach us capoeira. No, the
Yeah.
course is not about capoeira. The course is about you taking your capoeira and knowing how to present it in a better way to your students.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The
100%.
course is not about how I do my armada, how you do your bensa, which vingativa is more effective. No, the course is about, okay, you have your capoeira already, you're a good capoeirista,
Yeah.
and you have your students. But for your capoeira to enter your student's body, there is this gap, yeah.
Yes.
And we're
100%.
gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna give we're gonna give you 10 tools to make this transition a little bit better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Cause
it's not only for capoeira. It works with judo. Actually, now I was stuck for 6 months. I was stuck in some beach in the north of Brazil surfing. And actually, I did this instructor course for the surf teachers, and they improved their surfing lessons.
oh
It
wow,
has not,
cool.
yeah, it has nothing to do with capoeira, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much the educational part for educate to educate. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And because sometimes we learn by watching, and sometimes just watching doesn't mean that the other person that you're going to teach are going to learn the same way.
Yeah, exactly. And me, you, a lot of the teachers out there today, they are the pioneers of capoeira in their city, in their state, in their country. But we need to understand that pioneers are different people than the ones that learn afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Pioneers are more motivated. They go out there, you know, with the machete into the jungle, they
yeah,
carve the path.
yeah,
But not everybody have this ability. Yeah.
yeah,
So
100%. Yeah, the it's not easy to set up the pretty much the path for the generations to come. And because you never know how it's gonna lead and who's gonna come here to actually take over the next 10 years or something, and they need assistance
yeah,
for that.
for sure, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
they and what was the is your personal inspiration to come to do this contribution for the Capora community?
Well, I've been doing capoeira for 27 years and
Okay.
very intensively. Since I got into it, I was 100% sure that this is going to be my life. And so I dedicate my life to this art. So if you love something very much, of course, you want to share it with as many people as possible.
100%.
And in our society today, even more than 20 years ago, I feel that capoeira is an amazing medicine that can cure a lot of the illnesses
Yes.
of
Yes.
society. If you look
Yes.
around you, a lot of the things that are killing people today, it's not wild animals or street fights. What's killing people today has a lot to do with the way they deal with their body and their mind and their emotions. And I think capoeira is an amazing medicine for this. So, if you have this medicine and you don't share it with anybody, I feel it's almost like a crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very early on, I put for me like some life goal to help 1 million people live a better life through capoeira. And
That's
I've been
awesome.
pursuing this goal. So very quickly you understand that you're never going to have 1 million students. You actually don't even want to have 1 million students.
Yeah.
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 But but so the next logical step to help 1 million people is to help at least 1,000 teachers have 100 students or 200 students. And then
And
it
they
doesn't
can pass
matter
around the
what group they're
information.
from. Yeah. So, if you want to have a big army, you need to have a lot of generals, a lot of officers,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
start by educating the leadership. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's basically what's driving us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And how many of you guys are doing the course?
Teaching it.
Teaching, yeah, yeah, teaching the course, yeah.
Well, it's mostly in Israel. It's mostly my teacher. Done when I was living in Israel, I was doing it with him. Outside of Israel, it's mostly me. Sometimes when there's a weekend that Mestre Dan can join, we do both of us together, and that's the best. It comes out the best because we have a good dynamic together.
For sure.
And so it's mostly the two of us, and we always bring some guests. In the online course, for example, Mestre Ferradura donated a lot of music tutorials. So
That's
we always
awesome.
bring a lot of guests because capoeira is so complex, it's so
Yeah.
holistic. It's always nice to have other people
Many
donating.
materials. Yeah, yeah, and many knowledge. And Mr. Ferradura is awesome. I just actually had him on the podcast too.
Yeah, cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you when you do the online course, you're gonna see that almost all of the music videos came from him because he was like, man, I want to be part of this and I want to do and I'm like, he's one of the best. So
Yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
100%. Yeah. And um is this online course open right now for people, for whoever listening to this, and people want to learn all this material?
So the way I was doing it until now, I was gathering a group of people that were interested and we were starting the course together and we were having some kind of online community on Facebook and on WhatsApp. But in about 2 weeks, I changed the format. There's going to be a website
Oh,
because I
cool.
see that it's not practical that everybody starts the course in one time. It's not practical. Some people are busy, some people are not busy. So each one will be able to start the course by himself.
Oh,
And every time
cool.
you finish the week, the next week will open. It's going to be ready in about 2 weeks. So I will send to you and you can maybe plug it into your audience.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. It would be awesome. But for we have I have here on the podcast about like 1,000 plus a little bit downloads per month. And everybody that listen to this can join this course and make contribution to your work too.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah. So actually, one of the reasons I came to Mexico was to finish all this, all this stuff. I have some work to do, improve the course a little bit, re-edit some videos, and
yeah, that's awesome.
It's gonna be ready in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. I will put the information here, and even if it's not ready by the time the podcast comes out, I'll for sure we'll love to share that information, because we need that in the capoeira community. We need to be better educators.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be amazing.
Yeah, and you planning to keep traveling and having all these courses in person?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I live in Russia. The reason why I'm here in Mexico is that Russia closed its border. So,
man,
like 3 months into the pandemic, in the beginning, everybody was a little bit panicked. I thought I won't be able to see my parents if something happens to them. So I flew to Israel just to visit my parents, and then the borders closed. And I'm basically 1 year not able to go back to Russia. So that's why I'm just traveling around the world, pretty much lost.
Floating right now.
But I got some good news that probably in the beginning of June, the borders will be open. So once they're open, I plan to go back to Russia as quick as possible.
Cool.
And yeah, but then right when, some of the countries get back to work, I know right now people are in a little bit of a fragile situation. Yeah. Many people haven't been working for almost a year. So probably it's going to take another year until people recuperate a little bit. But for sure, we're going to have a course in North America, in Canada, in Japan, China. A lot of people are waiting for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It will be really, really cool. I'm pretty sure a lot of people here in the US. I heard few people that I personally know that they've done the course.
Yeah, it was amazing. Actually, one of the best parts about this pandemic that I got to meet a lot of capoeiristas that I never knew. Yeah. And in the United States and Canada, especially, so, like 80 people did the first course online, and I was amazed by the variety and the people and the level. A lot of people that teach for 20 years, 15 years. So it was a great exchange of knowledge. Yeah. And I'm excited to meet these people again.
Yeah, for sure, in person.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you guys do some sort of like marketing class or marketing tools for classes in the course?
So the course is basically divided into 3 levels because it's impossible to fit all the material into one. So what I was talking to you about now is level 1. These are the 10 teaching tools. It's called level 1. This is mostly aimed for adults classes, but it's the foundation for everything.
Okay.
And level 2 is what I'm going to be recording here in the next 2 weeks, is specialization for children and teenagers.
That's
because
so cool.
In the future, people are going to understand that to have a foundation for their community, they have to have thousands of children. I know today a lot of people are not teaching children because they're a little bit scared, unconfident, but we have a very good methodology. So level 2 is just about children and teenagers. And then level 3, it takes some time. But once the person starts working with level 1, level 2, his group starts going, 100 students, 150 students, some advanced students. So level 3, it's called team leaders. It's people that already have at least 2 instructors working underneath them.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that's where we talk more about marketing, leadership, how to deal with the team.
Okay.
All this stuff that I'm not a big fan of the stuff, but because of how my life turned out, I became pretty efficient at it. Yeah. A lot by making a lot of mistakes, when I was 21, I had 300 students already.
Wow, that's so cool.
I had a lot of years to make a lot of mistakes and learn from them.
From a lot of people.
So that's level 3. That's
so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
Exactly. Losing a lot of students, making a lot of mistakes with my team. So that's level 3. But you're going to see what we find out, that just after level 1, the level of the classes becomes so good that usually the person very quickly doubles his group or triples his group just from the quality of the class, because that's the number one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have all the fancy flyers in the world, but actually what you do day to day in the academy, that's what.
100%.
And when people
Give
start
them.
getting excited about the class, people start improving.
Yeah.
Just from word to mouth, the groups usually starts growing. And
That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had this experience many times in China, in India, a lot of people transitioning into full-time capoeira profession over a few years, and it's working nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And how does it feel to see the progress of all those classes growing and those people transitioning on something that they actually like to do?
Man, it's amazing. In the day-to-day hustle, we don't have so much time to stop and to think back. But actually, now we had a year that we were stuck at home, and so it
Yeah.
was a little bit of time of reflection. Man, it's surreal. It's surreal to have like 3,000 or 4,000 school children in India doing capoeira and singing
Wow.
Portuguese. It's surreal, man. It's surreal, and to have this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To see it growing and to see the all the information expanding, and I bet he feels really uh, proud of all the
Yeah.
work that you do. It paying off.
And I'm very proud of the teachers, because something we talk about in the course is that this capoeira profession, it seems it seems simple, and it seems like all roses and no fun, but it's very complicated, man.
Yeah.
Being a capoeira teacher, you it's so holistic. You're
Yeah.
teaching dance, you're teaching fight, you're teaching music, you're teaching tradition, you're teaching improvisation. Man, it's not easy at all, and you're doing all this without any schooling, without any mentorship, without anybody to show you the way. So I'm very proud of all capoeira teachers that survived this last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. We plan of tools what we can do to keep it going, to keep the fire going, and like you said, it's not easy, especially with that screen in front of you, like no feeling the energy and getting feed up with the energy from your students is not easy.
Yeah, but having said that, I've seen that capoeira teachers transition to online classes amazingly. If you
100%.
compare it
Yes.
to other martial arts, many other martial arts, they just gave up. They said, no,
Yeah.
online you can. And some other people tried, but man, capoeira transitioned beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's amazing. Capoeira really has this adaptation. It's almost from the history, from the slaves, this overcoming hardship, adapting. It's
Yeah.
doing amazing.
100%. Yeah. And I really like too, like there's a lot of people that they want to keep their online tools and a lot of material online, and now I've seen a lot of people developing systems for them to keep teaching online.
Yeah, I think it's going to be part of the future. Of
I think
course,
so.
nothing is like live, but
Oh, for sure.
I think people understood that there's always going to be a little bit place for online, and especially in big cities and big countries like United. In Israel is very small.
Yeah.
5-minute drive, you can come to any academy. But in big cities like in the United States, there's so many students that want to train and they cannot leave work in time, or they cannot cross the, I don't know, rush hour.
Yeah.
So what? These guys cannot do capoeira. No, they will do capoeira online at least, and then in the weekends they will train live. They
Yeah.
will do something.
Yeah. 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 To at least like keep offering what we have for them to keep coming to class.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that actually works better online. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the physical preparation, a lot of the repetition, all the boring stuff you don't want to waste time in class. Actually, it works amazing online.
Yeah. Yeah. The I remember one of my classes, because I have 3 classes a week and one of them is online, and I was like, the online class is going to be for going over all the basics, and like you said, we're gonna do the boring stuff that we don't do in class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have
Actually,
to
yeah.
drive somewhere. The class finished, they take a shower. That's it. The day continues. It's very efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny that we couldn't see this before until like something slap us on the face.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
what is the next step after the next itinerary, the after Mexico?
So actually, I came here for 2 weeks so I can enter United States, because
Oh, cool.
that's the only way to enter. And I'm going to go to Miami. Uh, Tubarão is going to have his first batizado, small batizado in Tampa.
Yeah.
I'm going to visit Cabeção and hopefully do some special master classes in Miami. I'm going to have like a reunion with my school friends because I grew up in Miami. So they're organizing some reunion.
Nice.
Hopefully I will get my vaccine. So that's sort of like the next step.
Nice. And after that, you don't know where you're going to be. Probably Russia, right?
Hopefully back to Russia, but who knows, man.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is so unpredictable at this point.
Yeah.
And do you apply all the information obviously on your classes in Russia, like your own instructors and all that?
Yeah, for sure. I already started doing the live instructor courses in Russia over 10 years ago.
Wow, cool. Yeah. Okay.
Over 10 years ago. And it's important to understand that just like in Capoeira, where you repeat the stuff over and over, this course is also made to be repeated. Yeah.
Okay.
So people do the course almost the same course every year, but every year they come with a new year of experience.
Yeah.
And they see it in different ways. So the guys that have been doing the course for over 10 years,
wow.
Man, yeah, we have guys there with like 300, 400 students.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing really good. Russia is on fire now.
Yeah. Because I seen the Capoeira community in Israel is pretty dominant there.
Yeah.
And Russia too. Yeah, in Russia too. There's a few pages that I follow on Instagram, and full classes.
Yeah, actually they didn't have a lockdown. Yeah, they were working the whole year, so they were lucky.
Nice. Okay.
They were working live the whole year.
That's so cool. And on there and then back to Israel, the older people that took the course, they also expand the courses or you open up, for example, is you and Mestre Idan teaching the courses? Do you have another instructor teaching those courses too?
Yeah, well, Mestre Idan, he invites, in Israel, we have over 150 professional teachers.
Wow.
150 teachers, about 10 masters, maybe 20 contramestres, many professors and blue belts. So when Idan does the live course in Israel, which is a very long course, it's like over 6 months, weekends over 6 months, every weekend over 6 months.
Yeah.
So when he does this course, every weekend he invites some specialists, somebody that's really good in music, or somebody that's really good in fighting, or somebody that's really good in acrobatics, and they give their, it's a very tight community, and everybody exchange knowledge.
Nice. And on my point with that is like do you certify another instructors to teach what you teach online on these courses? To be your replica and for example, somebody in the US can teach what you teach.
I think it will happen naturally.
Okay.
It will happen naturally. But when it comes to this, it's the, how do I say this word? How do I say it correctly? It comes down to results in the field.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we teach the tools. Now, some people are going to use these tools in different ways. The person that's going to have the best results in the field is automatically going to become the person that people are going to want to learn from. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, that's true.
If you want to learn to jump, you go to the guy that jumps well. Yeah. If you want to learn to fight, you go to the best fighter. If you want to learn to teach, you go to the one that has the most students or the best students, right?
Yeah.
This is something that it's so simple, but some people, they want to learn to teach and they go to the fighter, or they want to go to jump and they go to the musician.
Yeah.
You have to go where there's results. Yeah.
100%.
So I think naturally it's going to happen in every country. The one that will use the tools the most and will have the most results, automatically the community will look to him for his knowledge and experience. That's also how it happened in Israel, naturally. Yeah. It's not that we chose somebody, it happens naturally.
Yeah.
Leaders rise to the top.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes more sense because, you're not going to, if you want to learn how to cook, you're not going to go to the carpenter, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And today I think it's a little bit where the internet is a little bit, you have to be careful. Yeah, there's a lot
True.
of fake news out there. So there's a lot of fake experts. Yeah, a lot of people, you know, people teaching business that never really had a business. People teaching relationship
Yes.
advice that got divorced 5 times. You know, so yeah,
Oh,
a lot
you
of
nailed it.
today
Yeah.
everybody can be an expert.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be careful, and you have to go out and see the results in the field. And if somebody has something that you like, you go and learn from him. Man.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Because sometimes I heard people and saying like, oh, like giving advice on, like you say, relationship, and it's like, well, wait a minute, how's your relationship? Is or anything. Like now the online gurus of on like businesses and all that, and they don't even have a business. It's just
And
contradictory.
and I want to sharpen this point, because some people are gonna take this podcast and they're gonna try to take the things out of context, saying, Cueca is trying to convince people to be part of his group. No, it's not about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
yeah. If you want to learn how to have a bigger group, you can go and just learn that from the person that knows how to do it. It doesn't mean you have to leave your teacher, because your teacher probably has a lot of other good stuff that he's teaching you.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So you don't have to change your logo. You don't have to change your group. You don't have to change your belt. Yeah, you go and take the information and you bring it back to your community.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Yeah.
that's the philosophy that we're trying to like overcome. It's not about being, changing your identity or changing your lineage. No, it's about strengthening your lineage. Yeah, you go out, you bring information, you take it back.
Yeah.
And if we're honest, there's no one teacher that knows everything. Yeah,
100%. Yes. Yeah.
nobody can be good in everything, especially in capoeira. Like if we were
Yeah.
just doing boxing, okay, in boxing the guy can do good just in boxing, but there's only boxing. He doesn't have to play the
Yes.
berimbau. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to play the berimbau. It doesn't have to dance. It doesn't have to teach.
Yeah. So I think people expect their master to be like the jack of all trades. And then when he's not that, they sort of get disappointed. So they go to another guy. And then after a few years, they understand that guy is also not perfect in everything. But man, nobody's perfect in everything.
100%. Yes. Yeah. 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 We all are learning just here.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It's not easy and I heard many times, I don't remember the Mestre that said it, but he was teaching a class and was like, I'm not holding the truth in here. I'm just here to share what I know, and that doesn't mean that I know everything.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
So
yeah, and
the,
that's why I talk about here on the Capoeira community, and on the podcast, tell everybody, I want to learn even from the beginner. I don't care if it was 1 week to whoever has 100 years doing capoeira, because all of them are going to have different perspective, and I can learn from the beginner too, even if I teach, and
exactly.
uh, probably he's gonna teach me how I can teach, and probably have the any feedback where I can learn and improve myself for
You
them.
see, feedback is week 9 on the online instructor course.
Oh,
1 week,
nice.
all about feedback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go. See?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all kinds of feedback.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And is this course open just for instructors, or whoever can do it?
Well, it's online. So actually, anybody that enters the link he can enter. I don't have a
Okay.
screening process. We recommend it for not for beginners. We recommend it for people that already have a little bit of experience in capoeira,
Okay.
because we don't go over the basic stuff. We already start in how to teach. We don't go over the basic material.
Yeah.
But it's really good for people that are, let's say, starting to be advanced, and
Okay.
maybe they're not going to teach, but they just want to get a little bit bigger perspective of capoeira. A lot of times they enjoy this course. People that maybe want to start helping out their teacher.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So when the
That's
teacher
great. Yeah.
travels, they can take a class and stuff that will give them confidence. And people that are already teaching, or people that even teaching for many years, of course, that's the main
The main
group.
focus. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Then and do you think it's like a year's? Well, it always depends of how, because somebody can be 1 year into capoeira and be great, or 10
Yeah, I
years.
think 1 year is a little bit too soon
Too soon. Yeah.
for this course. Usually, in my students, I only send them after yellow belt. So yellow belt in our group would be green, green, yellow. 2 years after 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, usually after 4 years, I only open for them the option.
Okay.
But now it's online. People are consuming so much crap. So I mean, this course is not
That's
going
true.
to ruin their capoeira.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, and like you said, it's not about group. And I really like that you mentioned that, because uh, I want people to understand that it is to improve our tools to sharp. There's a book that I say, like, um, to sharpen the saw,
Sharpen
and
the axe. Yeah.
and the axe. So you're try to take the tree down with a dull
Exactly.
axis.
Actually, I tell this story in the course also.
Oh,
That's cool.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah. Very
yeah.
cool. Exactly.
It's better for us to have a sharper axe to be able to take that tree down just couple hits, and know how to hit it and when to hit it. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. I've gotten a lot of interesting feedback. Of course, I'm not going to say names, but people that writing me personally after these courses, that before the course, they were teaching, but they were telling me, honestly, Cueca, I was totally lost. I didn't know what to teach, how to teach. I was having a lot of anxiety before the class, a lot of unconfidence, a lot of,
Yeah,
they called it imposter syndrome, when you
yeah,
feel
yeah,
that you're not worthy, you feel you're not worthy to teach. And after the course, of course, the course doesn't solve this 100%, but it sort of puts you on a highway,
to be
where you say,
confident.
okay, yeah, there's these books, there's this knowledge. If I keep studying, okay, this is the direction. I'm not opening YouTube 1 hour before class and, just randomly picking some sequence. And so I hope this is like the kind of people that will enjoy the course. I know that I used to be like this also. Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
feel a lot of anxiety before going out to class, especially to
Wow.
kids' classes. Like 1 hour before the class, you start like stressing out and stuff, And yeah, I tell this story in the course.
Yeah,
So, but once you have some tools and you have a system, you're able to focus on the job and to do it more professionally and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to feel confident.
Without worries and wondering what are you gonna teach.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
because I've been there too, where of course, again, I don't have all the tools, which I actually need to do the course. Uh, Same thing. Sometimes an hour before, exactly like you said, an hour before, it's like, okay, well, what should I teach today?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I really like that. And to wrap it up, because I know you also busy. Uh, what would be a single advice, just in general, to all the capoeira community, whoever is listening to
Wow, what a bomb, man. Oh my God. Well, I think, okay, I'm just gonna, whatever comes up first into my
Yeah,
mind. Yeah. So I think in these fragile times, Capoeira is not let's say it's not right now in the best of places.
yeah,
But if you look at the history of Capoeira, it's always waves of ups and downs. So maybe right now we're living a little bit of a downward wave. So I think in this time, I think it's very important that people stay positive, that they don't lose the hope. But like there's this saying, as you pray, move your feet. Yeah.
yeah.
So as we hope for things to get better, there's a lot of stuff that we can physically do
100%.
to make it better. And I think we need to understand as a capoeira community that we are capoeira. Capoeira doesn't exist without us.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're in a room doing a roda, there is capoeira in this room. Once the people leave the room, capoeira doesn't stay in that room. Yeah, we are capoeira. So
Yes.
we talk about capoeira all the time as if it's like this physical thing outside of us, but actually we are capoeira.
Yes.
And so I think when people understand this and take responsibility for themselves and for capoeira, then we were going to start to create another wave. And
Yeah.
hopefully I feel a new wave is coming.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel a
Yeah.
new wave is coming. I just came from Brazil, man, and there's a lot of young, motivated teachers that
Wow.
want to
Cool.
learn, that are asking questions. a lot of the older masters have transitioned from the old school ways into a more educational, approach.
More professional on the sense of teaching, right?
Yeah, more professional and more humane. Capoeira comes, we won't get into now, but Capoeira comes from a very dark place,
Yeah.
in the history of it. And people have to transition, and today Capoeira is a educational tool. Today Capoeira is something very positive and very healthy. And a lot of the old masters are making this transition. They're a lot more open. I spent 2 weeks now in the house of Mestre Suassuna. He's 8 years old, and he has so much patience to explain things and to, he has some students training there in his house that are 2 months Capoeira, man. And he's like helping them out. He's 8 years old, man.
Wow.
So that gave me a lot of hope. Yeah. Because there's so many years. I'm 41. So there's another 40 years of teaching at least.
Yeah.
So there is time, but we need to start moving our feet a little bit and stop waiting for some miracle to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I remember I was with Cabeçon this last weekend, and he mentioned that the Mestre Suassuna is so active. He has so much energy, and he's just like moving and teaching and still doing stuff. And even regarding of his age, he's just Capoeira keeps him moving.
And he says, cool. he told me a few times over the weekend, I'm just trying to give back 1/10 of what Capoeira gave to me.
Wow.
And maybe that's how we should finish this. If each one of us try to give back 1/10 of what Capoeira gives to us, then I think everybody's work is gonna go really nice.
100%. I like closing it there.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yes. Well, Mestre, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and everything that you do, because we need this.
Man, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I heard about the podcast before from a few people.
Thank you.
And who knows, maybe in the beginning of June, we will cross paths somewhere in the United States. Maybe if you come back to Miami again.
Yeah, hopefully.
It will be great. It will be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And let's keep in touch, and let me know whenever you have the website. For sure.
I will.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
Ashe, my friend. Good luck.
Same to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for getting this far. Remember, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is going to help us and help me to get bigger numbers and bigger subscribers, so we can give more information. Okay, please, if you're listening, I know you're listening, I know you're watching, please give me a subscribe, give me a like. Okay, I know you're watching right here or listening. All right, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening every single episode, especially the episode we just did. All right, thank you so much. Peace.